Ah! Look, Naruto-san! Seaman Stroganoff is gone.
Strong enough?
The pretty Russian setter who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. And going all,
Yeah, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Yeah, you know what? With all this talk about the pet and such, I am looking at the mouse trap right over here, which makes me think of mices. Well, I mean, I was thinking that, okay, the game is offering us well, not necessarily a piece of evidence, but the game is offering us this detail that, oh, there are mices and such, which makes me think of a cat that is roaming around. Maybe if we're talking about a cat, the reason why the cat wet up the ventilator in the first place was because of a mouse. Or it could be a mouse itself. If we're talking about a mouse that did this, or a rat. Cha-la-la. Hmm? Did you hear that? Sounded like someone singing. Hey. Hello, look at that.
Miss Caroline, I know that lark-like voice.
Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yeah, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Spatwala's cabin while we can and investigate.
Definitely. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back.
It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot.
Okay, like, is there anything else that we can do around here? Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay, so I guess that shuts my idea on how Sholmes was actually hidden inside like the second cabin. The emergency alarm. Oh, an alarm.
It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop.
Alarm bells. Alarm bells. Oh. This I have to...
What are you doing, Naruto-san? You mustn't touch it.
But this is an emergency situation. Oh! Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Something comes to mind right now. Again, thinking about the whistling sound and such. Like, I was thinking about this alarm and said, oh, it couldn't be it. Because it rings bells and such. But no, what about that sound that ships do? Like, or something like that. It is like a whistle. Like, I definitely cannot produce the sound. Maybe I can offer you like a stock sound effect over here to to show you what I mean. Yeah, there you go, just like that. So maybe that is the whistling sound that we were talking about. Cause again, a mystery will offer details that can help us. For example, what can this alarm bell help us with? Well, maybe there's also the whistling sound. But there's also the detail that tells us that if this alarm bell is used, then the ship would actually stop. I feel like it's something to take into account as well. Hey there, fella?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, look!
Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you?
He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself.
I feel feel like this is gonna be a running gag throughout this, isn't it? Like, we're gonna be finding shelves in all sorts of weird positions throughout rooms and such. We're gonna be see him on the ceiling. We're gonna be see him hanging around. Like he's gonna do like a hanging around joke while he's, I don't know, floating around somewhere. I don't know. He's hanging himself like Tarzan. He's on the ceiling like Batman or Spider-Man. Tra-la-la-li-la-li. I did it the great detective way. Yeah, he's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us?
Or he's simply in extremely high spirits.
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when a yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood it all. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! What is it? You want to fight? You want a little piece of me? How about I show you some of my fisticuffs? Honestly, I'm interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is a good time as any. Also, Ryunosuke, I would be careful if I were you. Like, yeah, we had Susato's takedown, but you never know when Sholmes might end up discombobulating you, like accidentally, when you sneak up on him like that. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks, and I would discombobulate you.
First, discombobulate.
Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? My god, I love the animations in this game. I swear. Like, the characters are so lively, especially Sholmes over here.
He seemed to be examining something before he interrupted you.
Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log. It's penned by the stockily built crewman, who is usually on guard here.
Oh yeah, the ship's log.
And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. After 2 AM, the majority of the entries are blank. Oh, I guess it makes sense. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing enough happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, he did say that nothing of note, nothing noteworthy is written in the report after 2 AM, which would mean that there will be stuff written in it before 2 AM. Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman off stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Nothing to report every half hour, you say? Oh, he arrives at in every 30 minutes?
Nothing to report?
Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Which not only would it mean that he was hiding something, but he was not even here in the first place.
Do you mean...
Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post.
What kind of circumstances? What happened?
That remains a mystery for now. But we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file.
Alright.
That I'll do, Sholmes. I'll write it in my memory bank.
A record kept by the crewmen assigned to first class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 AM until early this morning.
Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. You're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes. Brilliance! Oh, ouch. What, did you break your back while you were laughing there? Or is your head hurting? What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Hmm. Is that so? So it is not just Ryunosuke and Hosonaga, but also you. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Yeah, you know, Susato was surprised there for a second. Something tells me that if Ryunosuke and Hosonaga and Shobs even have like these throbbing heads, that even Susato may have as well. And they are all in different cabins too. Is something wrong, Sato-san? You seem lost in thought.
It's just... well, I feel the same.
Yeah, you would feel the same. Sorry?
Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. Sort of continuous throbbing.
Oh, you too? Yeah, it seems that everyone that we know had a headache since this morning. I wonder. Okay, let's see about some stuff. Nah, apparently they took the report, or do we have it? Yeah, we have it, actually. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first class cabin. There are virtually no entries from 2 AM until early this morning. Nothing to report, nothing to report, nothing to report. Blank, 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 blank. Nothing to report. From 1:30 to 2 AM. They would write nothing to report at 2 AM, but they didn't. Meaning that they weren't here. Between 1:30 and 2. Okay then. Alright, let's see about moving to the second cabin, Miss Pavlova's cabin. Oh. 9th January, SS Beauty. First class cabin, number 2. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh! Where is she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things.
There's not a moment to waste now, Oda-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I mean, look at this dress. Isn't it look beautiful? You look really, really beautiful on me. Don't you think?
You are looking, you would look cute. I mean, you will look pretty cute in that. But yeah, you're right, for Kazuma's sake, of course.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It'll not be long until we arrive at the port. In Hong Kong.
Oh.
I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
Really?
We must solve this case now, Oda-san. By ourselves if we have to.
Oh, okay. So we are gonna be arriving in a port. It's not that we're gonna have to wait like an entire month until we arrive and, you know, do our trial if we are talking about having a trial. But if we are to arrive at Hong Kong, then we might do like a trial there. It's just that, yeah, we would rather solve it by then, otherwise we're gonna be in big trouble. Because we don't know how things are gonna go there.
Now, the sun. Are you there?
Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why?
Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home.
Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump beside every wardrobe I see, you know. At least, I think I don't.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes.
I was sort of hoping we might find Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Well, the thing is, they weren't there last time we checked. Cause Sean's was there, inside. All the books have toppled over there. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuma's cabin.
Perhaps... Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase?
I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company?
Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage?
I think bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
Yeah, you do that. Ah, yeah, they're displayed in this cabin too. The rules of passage.
I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean.
I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. Probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine.
I just hope Seema Stroganov doesn't find it and throw it overboard.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, it makes me wonder.
Hello!
So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door.
Yeah, although what a foolish shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room.
Ah, maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm.
Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning.
That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin too.
Yeah, it's a bell cord. I cannot resist.
She barely hesitated there. And she gave it a good tuck too.
Bam bam. No. I didn't actually expect anyone to come.
We don't want them to! We're trying to investigate in secret. Yeah, now that they mention it, I don't think that was a good idea. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. And the bolt's drawn across, and there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside.
Yeah, it's not a particularly heavy duty bolt, is it? But still, it won't slide across of its own accord, would it?
No. And the door is made of metal. So there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside.
Yeah, it seals up perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you taught me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. Well, it was put there deliberately. Ah, do you think... Yeah, it must be because of the pet. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? Oh. Well, a leak? Is this ship quite safe? Actually, even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Okay. Yeah, I am pretty curious. Let's see if this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. Hey, Donaska, what are you trying to say over here? That the Russians are extra simpy? You're rather obstinate, aren't you, now, the son? I guess so. You need to stay hydrated, people. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Now with the sun. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Just gonna throw me away for going through rubbish. She is looking at you as if you are rubbish as yourself. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly. We have no choice. Alright, let's see. There's hardly anything in here at all. Yeah, I guess so. It's not like, well... It's not like anyone stayed here. Or maybe, I don't know. We do know that Pavlova came here recently. I mean, she only arrived on this ship like last night. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Indeed. Here? There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yeah, I see. You see that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading. And books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people now, Oda-san. Can you remember that? Okay. Alright, but what about this though? Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside. But according to the Great Detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yeah, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Beauty. What kind of animal she had there? Either the animal went through the ventilator, or Pavlova took the pet with her. Maybe she hid it under her hat. And more to the point, where is it now? Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ah, what's that? Nah, that's not... That would definitely be the alarm, but... It's definitely not whistling. Oh!
Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. Oh god, we're being attacked by pirates! Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands, brace for impact! What the?
I think we're about to crash into another ship.
What?
I cannot stand.
Sato-san, hold!
Ah!
Sato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all?
I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruto-san.
It looks like we avoided a collision.
I think...
Yeah, the ship has come to a stop.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Naruto-san? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Uh-oh. Oh, that sounds like...
Inspector Hasanaga.
Wait a minute. Oh, I see. I guess so. That's how it all happened. Is that you in there, Naruto-san? Unbolt the door quickly. What? The bolt?
Oh, look at that.
The door's bolted. I see now. Did you do that, Susato-san?
No, I didn't touch it.
Well, that's strange. And look at all the books. Yeah, just like they were before again. I guess that explains it. That explains how it happened.
Naruto-san, are you going to open the door and let the inspector in?
I better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least. In a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would definitely not be pleasant. Yeah. One thing is for sure. I do strongly believe that this also happened like last night as well. I hurried around tidying up the cabin, with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. January. This is beauty. Miss Pavlova's cabin. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Sato-san took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolt. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Oh? Oh, you both look unhurt. Good. Okay, well, apparently Pavlova doesn't have her disguise anymore. I guess you guys know as well. Yeah, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? I heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yeah, it appears to have been a false report though. Oh, how did that happen? How did that happen indeed? If it's a fake report, it kind of makes me question if someone did that intentionally. Maybe to test some waters, maybe to get some extra clues. Speaking of someone, I do have to wonder where Sholmes is. There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This personality has triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere. This first class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. You know, this feels unpractical. Like, I mean, okay, I can understand the idea that somebody would notice and they would want to alert the crew members that there's an obstacle or something going on. Or, hey, there's somebody who fell. Let's break the emergency alarm and alert the ship to stop so that we can save the passenger that fell off the ship. Those situations I can understand. But at the same time, it kind of makes me question about those trolls that are just gonna break the emergency alarm and stop the ship for shits and giggles. Well, granted, that will mean that they will get like an extremely large tax, / they're gonna have to pay a lot for that joke. I can imagine that would be quite expensive, so you won't really want to joke about that sort of stuff.
Oh, I see.
Someone triggered the alarm?
Does that mean...
Then someone pressed that button outside? Yeah.
Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed in all black. You are the devil!
Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is first.
You opened my traveling case. How could you?
What? No, we didn't touch it.
That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector.
Yes.
Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man?
Duh. And he's a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
It kinda depends what kind of chicken. Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else.
Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She's right. You are the devil. It doesn't look good, does it? Oh, I wonder if somebody's gonna come over here and save us in the last minute. Maybe. There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell?
Please, Inspector Hasnaga. Is there nothing you can do?
This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. Yet my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature. Something tells me that I'm out of options there.
This is terrible.
There's an oil crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Okay, well, I was thinking that maybe Sholmes is gonna appear out of nowhere. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but get out now. Just need to investigate in here to help understand what... It's not use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. Okay, well, I doubt that he's gonna listen to us. Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you. Except show you a way to Whiff Ship's prison cell. Thanks, but no thanks. Not instant. I didn't kill anyone. And trespassing? And stowing away? Yeah, about those. Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues, and well... Enough! You are guilty! Ship's cell is only place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone. Some savior to rescue me from this crisis! You got yourself into a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. I really need some help here. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. Yeah. Hey, look at this guy coming to save us. What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Oh my. You look so fabulous with that tiara today, Mr. Sholmes. Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine he would bend that conceited-looking hook on the rope, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again, the great detective. Ah, Spectre. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is it to report? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. In the case of the curious murder that took place that night, here on this vessel, the steamship Budia, has been solved. By me, naturally. Okay. I guess so. I guess Sholmes has solved it all. And you can consider it a threshold in a murder mystery that when somebody says that they solved the case, that will mean that, oh, it is your last chance to solve it yourself, reader, and such. It certainly makes you think, but something tells me that I already have my ideas over here. We shall see if what I'm thinking of is actually true or not. Let's see. What?
Really?
Yep, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to eliminate all your minds. For I'm about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Oh, does this mean another dance of deduction? Ha! You've solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning, when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is this story, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. And the trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the outside. Well, there definitely is an explanation for that. Of how the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. And the thing is though, the cabin door was never touched to begin with when it was locked. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Not necessarily. It can be possible to lock the door. It can be possible to lock the bolt from outside as well.
Yeah, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Duh. Locked room. That is point.
The room was locked.
Well, I cannot deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. I'd say that there is. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all.
What?
Ah yes, there is another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Well, if you are to think for a minute, the evidence will be quite clear. As long as you don't look down on the ground and look up for once. Why? He gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator. You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. Now, last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator.
Mr. Shams, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. Well, looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Precisely, my dear madame. What does it mean? What is the speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger. But fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Yeah, what the? Oh! Okay. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The Speckled Band. Snake. Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes? Just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Hmm?
Yeah, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it... the striped band, wouldn't you?
You both see and observe. With distinction! However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall?
Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap?
Oh my goodness! Not exactly. I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova?
I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me.
There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
No.
She's turned as white as a ball of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi? Well, he cannot speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright, let's begin. Or more like, first we're gonna listen to his deduction, and then we're gonna be able to work our way through it. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, he was a friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the riding serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, I can imagine that while Sholmes is explaining himself, he gets like the snake's spit on his face. It's not poisonous. Well, hopefully it's not poisonous. But his face is all drippy. The specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake's slouch skin. Oh. Evidently, after the stolen and horrible crime, this deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent suddenly descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime. Is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it slows its kin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine you would be found in the deepest depths of India. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm at the scene of the crime.
No, could there be?
Yes. An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now, your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you choose. That's right. He hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in his cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your separate assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made one note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train?
Indeed. You put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared to not have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Actually, Sholmes does certainly bring me some new ideas in regards to how the locked room happened. But I guess we shall see. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would curse through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the Speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt, my logic is infallible. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the Speckled band. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Mr. Sholmes. I don't know about that one. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you'll observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is a key to training any creature.
Snakes drinking milk.
Incredible. You've solved the mystery. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, he has nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand.
Can I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh. Okay, well this is actually pretty interesting. Susato is the one who is questioning things. But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk.
Yeah, I honestly cannot say for sure what is with yeah, I cannot say that I've ever heard of snakes drinking milk. Like, I have never heard of pet owners that have given milk to their snakes. Oh.
It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds.
Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears.
Yeah, indeed. They have no ears, so I don't know about how you would train a snake to do certain actions based on whistling. Cause would a snake hear whistles if they don't have ears? Aha.
Yes, I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling.
But madame, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? Well, I have heard of a thing called red herring. When they say that something is something at the beginning of the story, it could very well be that it's something else. Reason why when somebody is trying to figure out a mystery and they give an answer, you have to think about it yourself first, if what they're saying is right or not. In this case, I don't know if this is the case, to be quite honest.
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Oh, don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There's one other thing.
You have more?
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then you should try harder.
Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. And the point is, even though the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it could not come back without help.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they can climb down, but they certainly couldn't be able to climb back up, in my eyes.
What I tried to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this.
And also, I do have to question the whole thing with the snake's skin and all. You are saying that the snake shedded their skin, and before it was speckled, and now you're saying that it's all striped. I'm not saying that I know that much about snakes, but something tells me that the pattern that they have, it always stays the same. They won't change their patterns just like that. Alright, I think that we're good right now.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruto.
Yep. It is our time to shine. I think that we should do this dance of deduction one more time together, Sholmes. And, I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to think ourselves as well for this. I would have to thank you for that, Sholmes. No, you don't mean...
We need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
I don't think that was coming. Alright. Let's give it a try. Let's get dangerous. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruto. Yeah, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? And would you look at that? You've done it again.
Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see they are restored after our work is done. Maybe you should leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alrighty then, Let's get to it. Miss Pavlova, moment ago you claimed the phone. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Yeah, that's true. She looks as though Kazumasuma's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
One thing is for sure, she must know something about Kazuma's death. She must have had something to do with it. We are not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then?
Let's take a moment. I really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
When you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Ah? Look at that!
Oh! Naoda-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound.
Yeah, something tells me that this comes from something else other than a snake. It looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. They surely did quite a wound on her. Ow! Fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Yeah, I do have to wonder.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night.
Ah! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was a friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the riding servant we see before us. Isn't it likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except snakes don't have claws, do they?
No, they surely don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow.
Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow our gaze now, Roda-san. And that's where we'll find the answer.
Alrighty then. In which case, let me see if there's something behind... Oh, well, there we go. Well, there's our answer right over there. I was thinking that maybe there was something behind his back. Like maybe he was hiding the kitty cat, like, in his hands behind. But no. It is actually, like, the evidence is right over here. Oh. You were looking over this framed photographic print, weren't you, Miss Pavlova? I think that this is actually like a perfect case of what I've been told, like before. That I should probably examine things first, and then present them. Because, no, it's not photographic print, but it's what's inside the photographic print that counts. But let's not be distracted by the print itself. Oh no. It's the frame that is your friend, isn't it? Because it so beautifully displays whatever you put inside it. I guess I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, It would have made sense to point to that display and, well, there's the evidence that it was a cat. But no, apparently the game wants me to examine it first, and then Ryunosuke would conclude that, oh, it is a pet. Otherwise, Ryunosuke apparently is gonna say that her friend is actually the photographic print. Okay. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruto? Just following the natural progression of deduction, of course. Sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is, you don't have a turn for observation or deduction. Did that hurt? Yes, a lot. Okay. I guess for the sake of being thorough, we're gonna examine that. Although, okay, there we go. Ah, look at that, you cute little kitty cat. And yeah, there you go. There's the bell. That is what I was thinking of before. That is where the bell came from. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away.
She is exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yep, that's true. Well, personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this. Let me look at this. Look at the little cat, Miss Pavlova. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova's cutting here.
Oh, what a cute little kitten. Could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruto-san? For the blackest outfit.
A black cat. And from the looks of it, this picture at least, Miss Pavlova sounds very attached to it. There is no room for doubt. This is the friend.
Yes!
That she was looking at. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear.
Oh no.
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Dark Eye is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darka. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. I see. I guess this also explains what she was hiding behind her. That skin that Shons was talking about. It is actually, well, I can assume that it is a collar. Like or not a collar, but a scarf that the little kitten Darka would wear as another accessory. I guess we shall see. The victim's written observation of the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit to the description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake's slouched skin.
Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
She just left it in her pocket. No one would ever have known.
Yeah. Flies like that are Mr. Sean's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something.
I thought deduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Yeah. It's kind of that classic situation where you say that, oh, the evidence that you saw used, it is in my hands. Like the detective would trick the culprit into thinking that the detective took the evidence that was inside their clothing and then the culprit would actually check their clothing to see that, hey, the evidence is still there. The detective tricked me. But what that shows is that the detective was actually right. That the evidence that he was talking about, it was hidden inside the culprit's clothing. Because if they were not the culprit, then they wouldn't have checked their clothing and such. They would just say that the detective was bluffing. I don't have anything. The fuck is he talking about? But the fact that he was checking, the culprit was checking, tells you about their actions and such. It tells you something about them. Let me see. Well, it's not the same trick that Sholmes used here. But failing to conceal can only be the snake's slouched skin. I guess you could say that in the spur of the moment, Pavlova was trying to check and see if that she was actually concealing the thing or not. But by mistake, she actually showed it there. I guess.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake.
I remember that happening in 999. I do remember one particular moment when that happened, when the protagonist actually did that trick on the culprit. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Okay, well, let's check and see. Oh? Okay. Wow, it is speckled. And there's a fan, but... what is it? It's supposed to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. Oh. Oh, I see. Maybe this isn't actually a scarf, but rather a toy that that she uses to play with Darka. Yeah, that looks like a handle at one hand. I think it may be a cat's toy. And this sort is common in the West, apparently. Yeah, this can actually be possible too. I was thinking that maybe the cat was wearing a scarf, but in actuality, yeah, it could be possible that Darka actually took the toy with her through the ventilator, and the Kazuma saw Darka with the toy in her mouth. How is that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase band around and paw with it. Kittens particularly love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it.
That sounds positively adorable. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, I guess so. This explains it. Yes, the thing you are trying, but failing to conceal, is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled bands. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, I can only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. A truly troublesome feline, young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. Well, I don't know about Pavlova actually using that to train Darka to bring the cat back. Because if we are still to go with your logic from before, Sholmes, that would mean that Pavlova is still here in this cabin, while her friend Darka was on the other cabin. how would Pavlova use that cat's toy to bring, like, a Darka back? Unless it had some bells on it, I can understand that, but as it stands, well, it doesn't make any noise. It's just a cat's toy that you fool around with. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darka has been entered into the court record. A photograph of Miss Pavlova and her friends, a kitten named Darka. It was after I gave her her food last night. Actually, hold on, before we go with this, can I examine like anything behind the photograph? Apparently not. Such a cute little kitty. Kitty. Oh, I didn't. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then right up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka. She's so naughty. Okay. We solved that topic. Now it's time for the next one. Well, since we discovered the identity of the snake, there's no way that we're talking about the snake's venomous bite. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been appraised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. Well, that is technically true. There are no visible wounds, even after all that we learned thus far. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. What Mr. Shaw says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-san's body. However, Kazuma dying because of a venomous bite? Nah, it doesn't sit well with me. I doubt that our friend Dark over here would have like venomous fangs or anything like that. In which case, I think that from now on we have to be careful with cats. That will be the end of the road if we were to figure out that, hey, now cats have suddenly evolved to have like poisonous fangs and all that. That would be pretty dangerous. That's right. But Mr. Shaw seems to be unaware of one very important detail. I mean, it would be devastating. Like it would be on the news like 24/7 if we were to find that out. Like, one of the few things in life that are so pure. The cats. Now they are posing another problem to us. Now they are posing a problem to us. Like, what's next? Dogs are gonna have like poisonous like fangs as well? Yes, it seems so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Alright, then. Yeah. The thing is, though, we have, this... Wait, what is that? Review scene? Okay. Oh, okay, I guess so. The circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Nah, well, here's the thing, though. There were no traces of poison inside him, so...
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes. I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebra is fatal. Only that good life would be strong enough to survive that. Sinan Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. And well, the jury is out. Anyway, we have on a good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. No,
Could there be...
Yes. An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
Now the thing is though, it makes me question how we're going to be able to show that. We would have to check the room a little bit. Like, I was thinking about the whole thing about him falling on the ground, because the shoe markings on the floor would suggest that he fell, and it's possible to fall on your neck and die. Oof. Like, now I'm finally processing what this is. Like, you know, in my eyes, like, the chances of you getting murdered by a particular someone, in my eyes, are much slower than getting yourself killed by accident, by falling or something like that. Like, it scares the living Jesus out of me to fall, like, wrongly on something or something, and you would hit your head or break your neck. Like, it actually happened to me once, like, I hit my head on something at some point. Ugh. Okay. But moving that aside, it can very well be possible, and we have to show some evidence. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Assuming Darker didn't suddenly creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow.
Well, I suppose it's possible that he had to fall and hit the ground there awkwardly.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that as well, Sato.
It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Yeah, a bad fall could explain it.
It's very hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He was a clumsy man.
I need to fix that deduction somehow. Yeah, like, I guess an argument against that would be that Kazuma seems to be very good in combat and such. So, thinking of him dying because of a poor misstep, it's definitely something to question, but it can very well happen. Like, you know, it reminds me of something in One Piece, the anime. Like, at the beginning, like, someone's death, like, unceremoniously, it happened because of falling down the stairs. And such, so... An examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Okay, I wonder if I have to show this. Like, as evidence to his fall. Like, that could be it. We already shown the post-mortem. An examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. Okay, if we are to switch the words over there, it makes sense, yes. So... Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Beeswax, tallow and dye. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped.
Please, no.
Apt by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in an instant, he lost his life.
No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Is that very true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yeah, there's certainly a piece of evidence there that would connect to you, once again. Or more specifically, to someone close to you. Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you choose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. I do have to question where she was actually looking at. Maybe not the traveling case, but maybe the trash bin? Kazuma summarily trapped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But... and with this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right. Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Okay, well let me examine the bin right over here first. Like, we did that before, but I guess we should look at this one more time to see. This is a waste paper basket. Ah yeah, because... actually no, we would still notice it like before. We figured out who Darka is. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. Well, Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Ah, would you look at that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. Yeah, let me look at this a little bit. Actually, okay. Well, I guess we have to correct Sholmes on where Pavlova was looking at, and we should say that she was looking at the waste paper basket and not the traveling case. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. You would see. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asaga's cabin, which would tell us that your friend Darka was in there to begin with. That piece of evidence does tell us that. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which is evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the newspaper basket in your cabin? Yeah. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. And that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruto. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell. That would be... linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell. That would be... Pavlova and Darka photograph. Yeah, once again, it would definitely connect, because it was Darka who was wearing that little glass bell.
Yes.
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after truly an inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Tarka.
I couldn't. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Alright. Well, I guess that solves another part of the mystery. What do you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night.